Hey guys, happy Monday to you all. And I hope you're having a wonderful Monday so far. So, we could not do our Freeview Friday review of our last week's ACT questions because my laptop was sick and is still sick, but it's on its way to recovery. I hope to be back up and running completely by the end of today. But for now, we're going to make do. I'm off camera because I am presenting to my TV. And so I'm not in a good view of my webcam to be on camera, but that's neither here nor there. Let's jump right in to our questions from this past week's daily ACT questions. And so we're going to take a look at this first question. It says, which of the following expressions is equivalent to x to the 2/3 power? Now, you can solve most ACT math questions in two ways. You can solve it algebraically or traditionally, and then you can also solve it strategically, like using problem solving skills. And I'm going to take you through the problem solving way in case you don't know the math, but then also show you, well, hey, if you knew the math, this is the answer. So let me do the algebraic way first. This x to the 2/3 is what we call a rational exponent. It has an exponent that has a fraction in it. And if you remember how that works, it will take you to the answer of k, because this fraction here, the top number of the fraction becomes the exponent of the base, this x, and the bottom number of the fraction is the type of root it is. So this is a cubed root, the cube root of x squared. That takes us directly to k, and we can do that really quickly. Like, you have 60 minutes or 60 seconds per question, 1 minute per question on the ACT. And if you remember that algebra, you can definitely get the answer super quick within that time frame. But if you looked at this and you don't remember it, or you haven't been taught it yet, or this completely freaked you out because it's variables and exponents and it looks really crazy and intimidating, then you can do problem solving in order to get to the correct answer as well. So how would you solve this using problem solving? What you would want to do is choose, or you pick, a number for x. That's one of the strategies we teach in the ACT prep course, is for you to take full control and power over the question and pick what you want x to be, right? And the key words that let you know that you can do that is because it's asking you is equivalent. When you see that magical phrase in the question, that usually lets you know you can pick numbers for either the question itself or the answer choices or both, or you can take the answer choices below and plug in. But that's the key phrase that lets you know, hey, you're going to be able to do the you pick strategy. So I tell you guys, I normally always pick two. I pick whole numbers, positive numbers. I stay away from 0, 1, -1. I stay away from decimals and fractions when I'm picking my numbers. So I'm going to let x equal 2 for both my question, and I'll plug that into my calculator and see what it's going to be. Because if x is 2, then that means I'm looking at 2 to the 2/3 power. I need to know what that is. So I'm going to flip over to the calculator and see what we get with that. So I have a 2, then raise it to a fraction here, 2/3 power. And then it gives me this 1.5874, on and on and on. And that's what I get, okay? So then I'll go back and substitute 2 into every answer choice and see which one is going to be the correct answer. All right, so I'm taking my 2, and I like to start with H, but you can start with your answer choices, plugging it in, go up or down accordingly until you get to the right answer. We already know K is the right answer, so let's just look at J and K just to prove it to you. So for J, I'm doing the cubed root of 2 because that's what I said X is, and I'll put that in my calculator and see what I get. And remember, this was 1.587 something 01. Okay, so let's see what we get when we put J into the calculator. Okay, so I'm looking for the cubed root, and I'll see here it's the second function of this parentheses. So I'm going to do shift parenthesis. Now it gives me a cube root and a 2. Execute, and I get 1.2599, which is not what I need. That's incorrect, right? So that's not the right answer, which we knew it wasn't. But I'll put that back over there on the other screen. That's not it, okay? And then we'll plug in K just to prove to you that that is the correct answer and that you would ultimately get that as your answer if you substituted it incorrectly. So we'll plug this into our calculator. So once again, we're looking for the cube root, so shift, parenthesis, and this time of 2 squared. And we get the 1.587401 that we were looking for. And that is the problem-solving way of the U-pick strategy for answering that question correctly. So I hope that helped you, and we're going to move on to the next question. We have in parallelogram ABCD below, segment AC is a diagonal. This is segment AC. The measure of angle ABC is 40. ABC, that's right here, is 40 degrees. And the measure of angle ACD is 57 degrees. Question is, what is the measure of angle CAD, which they do have labeled for us there already? What is the measure of this angle? So do need to know some things about parallelograms. Specifically, opposite angles are equal, right? So that means angle B is congruent to angle D in a parallelogram. So this one is 40, right? So opposite angles are congruent. Now we are just one step away from the correct answer here because this triangle, we've got 2 of the 3 angles we know right now. Okay, so we have 57 and 40. We just need to find the third angle. And you should remember that every triangle, the angles add to be 180. So we have 180 minus the sum of 57 and 40. Because 1, 2, 3 should add to be 180. Then this is how you can figure out the missing angle. And I'll just put that in my calculator real quick to get the answer for us. You guys probably have it already worked out in your head faster than I can change screens. That's okay. 180 minus 57 plus 40 is going to give us 83 degrees for the answer to problem 2. Okay. All right, and then we will move right along to our third question from last week. You guys did great responding to the questions in the Facebook group and in on Instagram. So keep it up. The questions for this week have already started flowing out to you. This week is a science week, so make sure you are actively working those out and sending in those answers. We will be going over those answers this Friday. All right, question 3. The ABC Book Club charges a $40 monthly fee plus $2 per book read in that month. The Easy Book Club charges a $35 monthly fee plus $3 per book read that month. For each club, how many books must be read in 1 month for the total charges for each club to be equal? Now, once again, you have a problem that is classic, shows up on the ACT all the time, where you are comparing plans for something. Something has a monthly rate plus a setup fee, and you compare it to another program's pricing for their monthly rate plus their setup fee, and they want to know when are the prices the same. Or, they ask a question very similar. This question is classic. It shows up a lot. And once again, you can solve it in 2 ways. You can solve it the algebraic way with equations, and you could also solve it problem solving or being strategic because you have the answer choices. It's a multiple choice test. One of the answers is correct. You can use that to work it out more from a problem solving standpoint. I will show you both ways here. So for the ABC Book Club, let's set up what the equation would look like for that, for the ABC Club. So there's a $40 monthly fee. That's monthly per month, right? And we're talking about monthly charges, so we can leave it at that. So we're going to do 40 plus $2 per book read. This is what's changing because we're only talking about month. So the thing that is changing in here is going to be the books read. So that's got to be our variable. So I just want to make sure I'm clear because that could be confusing when you see monthly charge where you're thinking, oh, the months is changing. That's where I need to put my variable, but actually the variable is going to be the books that you read. So we have a $40 fee. This is for 1 month plus $2 for every book that you read, and we'll let X be the number of books because we don't know how many. And then here, another sign for that is the question, how many books? So that's where your variable needs to be because that's your signal in the question. Then we have Easy Book Club that has a $35 monthly fee that cost, and then $3 per book X. Okay, so that's kind of your setup equation. They want to know how many books would you read in 1 month for the charges to be equal, which means you just say equal right here. 40 plus 2x equals 35 plus 3x. And then you would solve these equations for x. I solved this equation, for x, and then you have the answer. So I always like to move my x's first. It's just a thing. So 40 equals 35 plus x. That's from me subtracting 2x on both sides. And now me subtracting 35 over means the answer is H, 5 books from algebra. And I would be able to do it this way if I did not have answer choices. But I have answer choices, so I can work a little bit smarter, right? I could have taken answer choices and substituted them into each one of these expressions and determine where they are equal. And lucky for me, I always say start in the middle. So when you start in the middle, you would have gotten the correct answer right off the jump. But if your answer was too big, you would go down to G. If your answer was too small, then you would go up to J. But anywho, we're going to plug in the 5 for X for both of them, and then you just see what the price is. So 2 times 5 is $10 plus the 40 gives you $50 for the ABC Club that month if you read 5 books. Likewise, 5 times 3 over here gives you 15. 15 plus 35 is also $50 for the Easy Book Club if you read 5 books that month. So the answer is H, 5. Okay. Last question for our week from last week, our ACT questions. Here we go. So our last question reads, a wallet containing 5 $5 bills, 7 $10 bills, and 8 $20 bills is found and returned to its owner. The wallet's owner will reward the finder with 1 bill drawn randomly from the wallet. What is the probability that the bill drawn will be a $20 bill? Okay, what a fun question, right? So probability, we've discussed a couple times. Probability is the ratio of the number of successes or the things you're looking for over the total possible outcomes available. So I'm just going to say total, because that's a lot to write, total possible outcomes available. And then on top is the number of items you desire, the number of successes, they call it. So I'm going to put number of successes. So it's like the number of things you want out of the total number of possibilities is your probability. So in this case, the question is, what is the probability that the bill drawn will be a $20 bill? So we're looking for specifically $20 bills. That means we want the number of $20 bills possible on top, like the number of successes, that means the number of 20s. And if I look at the information, here I've got everything about the bills in the wallet. The number of $20 bills, the number of successes is going to be 8. Okay, because there's 8 $20 bills. Then I just need the total. The total what? The total number of bills that are in the wallet. And I see here I have 5 this, 7 that, 8 that, right? And it really doesn't matter what their denominations are. We just need the total number of bills in the wallet. So you're adding these up. 5 plus 7, 12 plus 8 more is going to give you total of 20 bills in the wallet. And now, so you look at the answer choices, we don't see 8 out of 20, and that's because it's not reduced. You want to make sure you simplify always. That's what highly skilled mathematicians do. And you can reduce this down, right? And you'll get your correct answer. Now, of course, if you're relatively well at math or you remember how to do it, you can reduce this just fine. If not, if you're in a panic from test day or whatever, then I'm going to show you how you can reduce using your calculator so you don't have to be in a panic that your answer is not showing here, or afraid that you're going to spend too much time trying to reduce it by hand. So I am going to show you how you can, pressing the wrong buttons, in the calculator, how you can reduce. So it was a fraction, it was 8. Let's get fraction ABC. The fraction was 8 over 20. Execute. And now this calculator automatically simplifies, but if your calculator had given you a decimal at this point, then you want to look for the button that says F arrow D, and that's how you can go back and forth between fractions and decimals, and vice versa. So you hit that, see, it changes it to a decimal. I press it again, it changes it back to a fraction in lowest terms, which means it's completely simplified. And that means we have found the correct answer to the last ACT question of the day from last week, which is D, 2/5. 2/5, okay? And those are the questions, guys. So like I said before, the questions for this week are already going out to you, and I will see you on Friday to go over those questions. Real quick, wanted to let you guys know that in addition to doing an ACT question every day, another good way to practice, get your reps in, and be best prepared for the ACT exam is to take ACT practice test. We just delivered one, or we just proctored one this past Saturday, and we do them every first Saturday of every single month. You can take a free, completely proctored, full-length practice test. We score it for you and everything. So it's not too late if you would like to go back and just do that particular practice test on your own. Let me know in the comments. We'll get the link to you so you can take that official practice test, and we'll get the scores to you as well, so you can do that. And you can also look forward to the one coming up June 4th, which will be good practice for the June 11th actual ACT test if you're taking it on June 11th. Now, this week starts our ACT test review of math. If you have not signed up for that, it's only $30. That's $10 per session. But for the next 3 Wednesdays, we are going to be going over 3 full ACT math tests, timed the whole 60 questions every week on Wednesday. And so that gives you access to 180 math questions getting prepared for the June 11th test. So a lot of bonuses coming up for you guys for ACT test prep. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys later.